Hey guys, Cody here with Fountain Atelier, where I help you achieve your art goals, and I thought it might be kind of fun today to take a look at my plein air gear for 2022. Now, just like anyone else, I'm always switching around my gear and trying new things, but I'm pretty happy with my current setup. When I'm looking to get plein air gear, I'm looking for three specific things. Number one, it needs to be lightweight and easy to transport, which makes sense because we're going to be hauling it all over the place. Number two, along those same lines, it needs to be small and easy to pack because when I go out painting, I don't want my gear to be falling out of my backpack because it's so overly stuffed. And finally, number three, it needs to be easy to use and fairly simple. The last thing that I want to do when I'm going out to paint is to be fumbling around with my equipment, losing washers here and bolts there and that type of thing. Plus, if you have a setup that's really complicated, that can be a mental barrier to even getting out and painting in the first place. So keep it simple. Okay, so let's get going. I'm going to show you everything that I plan to use this year. In case you want to check any of this stuff out yourself, I've provided links in the description below. Okay, so first thing we're going to get into is my backpack. We need something to carry all of this stuff with. Now, if you saw a previous plein air gear video that I did a while back, this is still the same backpack. I love it. It's just a real simple backpacking backpack. It's not a name brand or anything like that, but I like these backpacking packs because they've got a lot of straps and support, so they're easy to walk with for long distances, and they have tons of pockets and lots of places to put things, so these work really well. Another key piece of equipment that I like to use is this thing. So this is my little gear bag or satchel, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But this is where the majority of my plein air supplies are. So you can see how small this is. So inside here you can see that I've got my brushes, I've got my palette knife, I've got a pencil, I've got a pen, pretty much everything that I need for mark making. Now you'll notice with some of these brushes I've actually cut the handles down so that they fit in here really nice. You know, when you're out plein air painting and working quickly, you don't need a ton of brushes, so everything that I have here works perfectly fine. So on the other side of my little pouch here, I've got a lot of different things. So in the zippered pocket, I've got my view catcher, which works really well for trying to figure out what your composition is going to be and frame your scene. I've got some paper towels folded up and put in here just in case I don't really want to have to take a big giant roll with me out painting. I've got some extra lead for my mechanical pencil in case I plan on doing any sketching, and then around that I've went ahead and wrapped several layers of my blue painter's tape that I like to use, again so that I don't need to take out a big bulky roll. And then over on this side is where I have all of my paint. So when you look in here, you can see that I've got 6 tubes of paint. Now, I've talked about it in previous videos. I like to use a limited palette. It keeps things really simple. So I've got a titanium white, I've got a Hansa yellow, I've got a kind of a cadmium red hue, or the same as a naphthol red. I've got a alizarin crimson, I've got an ultramarine blue, and I've got a burnt umber. So that pretty much covers everything that I need. I've also got some painting medium in here. Now again, I'm using water mixable paints when I am out. So this is a artisan brand painting medium specific to water mixable paints. And then I've got a little double palette cup here which clips onto my palette really nicely and holds my solvent and my medium. Now I keep this specific to plein air painting, so I'm not loading this up and unloading it every time that I go out and paint, because again that can be a barrier to getting out and getting some work done. So everything just stays in here so that when I'm ready to go, all I have to do is grab this and off I go. Now the other question that you're going to run into is what in the world are you going to paint on? What type of easel you're going to use? Now there's lots of different options out there. My go-to option here lately, and if you've watched any of my recent plein air videos, you know what I'm going to say, but I love to use this guy. This is a little PochadePalette by artist Michael Klein. Now what I love about this is that it is so incredibly small and lightweight. Now I did a full review on this PochadePalette. If you want to learn more about this specifically, make sure you check out the link in the description below after you watch this whole video. Now, one of the things that I do love about this is that you can use it with a tripod so it stands up on its own, or you can just hold it. It's got a nice little thumb hole right here that you can put your thumb into, just like you would hold a traditional palette. So if I'm out painting, I can hold it just like this and go ahead and do my thing. And it doesn't make my arm tired. It's very lightweight, works fantastic. Now it comes with its own little carrying case down here, and that helps if there's any paint or anything on it. It helps keep the paint off of my other stuff, and so I always have that with me. Now, if I'm doing a competition where I know I'm going to have to be making some larger pieces, I will bring along my Daytripper Easel. So this is a palette that hooks onto the legs of a tripod and opens up, and it works really good too. A little bit more bulky, but still not nearly as big as something like a French easel. When I'm out in the field, I like to paint small, so instead of taking big panels, I like to actually take these little cut pieces of Belgian linen. So I go out and I buy a big roll, I cut them down into 5x7 or 8x10 inch pieces, and these are great because they're flexible. I can roll them up. I can stick them, several of them, a handful of them in my panel carrier or my backpack. And then, as you know, if you go plein air painting, not every piece that you do is going to turn out. So I can then, mount the ones that I like on a piece of hardboard and sell them or put them up for display. And then if I, have a stinker that doesn't turn out well, I can just toss it to the side. Not a lot of money spent. And then of course we need something to put our wet paintings in. My favorite piece of gear for that is this guy. So this is a PanelPak. Now what's great about PanelPaks is that they come in all different sizes, and they have this little routered edge on them that you can lay your painting panel in there flat and use that, and that works really well. And it's slim, so it fits into a backpack, doesn't take up a lot of room, unlike more traditional panel carriers. Works great, highly recommend it. And then of course I've got my tripod, so I have a heavy duty tripod that has a 360-degree swivel head on it. If I want to take it out and use it with my Daytripper Easel or PochadePalette, I certainly can, but I don't really need to if I'm just going to do stuff small and hold my PochadePalette like I showed you. So depending on what I'm doing, where I'm going, how long I'm going to be out, all those types of things, I will bring a few extra items. If I'm going to be out on a really hot sunny day, I like to bring some sunscreen with me. As you know, if you're plein air painting for any length of time, you kind of lose track of time pretty easily, so this allows me to slap some of that on, make sure I don't get a sunburn. I always bring some business cards with me because you never know who you're going to run into, along with a card reader because, you never know. Someone might want to purchase that piece right off your easel, which is like always the best thing. If I'm not going to be anywhere to wash my hands, I like to bring some baby oil with me. Baby oil works great at putting on a paper towel and rubbing your hands with it. It takes the oil paint right off. If I'm concerned about my hands getting messy or dirty, a lot of times I will use a latex glove to kind of keep the paint off my hands. And the nice thing about it is then it doubles as a little trash collector. I'll take my wadded up used paper towels and stuff them inside when I'm done and just throw the whole thing away. And finally, if it is dark out, I will need a light. So I have these little grill lights. These work great for clipping onto my easel if need be. Doesn't work super great if I'm using my PochadePalette, but it will work really well if I'm using my Daytripper Easel. And I always have some extra batteries for that, just in case. And last but not least, if I'm going to be out for a while, I'll bring a snack or two, and I'll bring some water. And since I use water mixable oils when I plein air paint, this also acts as my solvent. So really handy. Hey, if you're finding this video helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss more content like this in the future. It's a free and easy way to help support my studio. Like I mentioned, links to most of this stuff are in the description below. If you want to see some of it in action, make sure you check out this video right here where I go ahead and explore a natural arch and a cave. Very exciting stuff. See you there.